Hello everyone. So welcome to the next video in the series of videos on accounting and in this video we are going to see what is called as a tabular analysis. Okay, so this is a question that is appearing on your screen that we will be trying, and this is problem number 3-2A from third chapter of the financial accounting book. Now this lecture or this video is a part of the playlist, so those who are seeing this video directly for the first time, please also refer to the entire playlist, start from the beginning, and you can go one by one in that series of lectures, so you will be able to catch up. Now let's do the tabular analysis. So this is about that. What is tabular analysis? So if you look at this equation, assets equal to liabilities plus stockholders equity, so A equal to L plus E, you can make it as a shortcut. So this analysis of this equation, so how the different transactions which are listed above will be impacting this equation, that is what we are going to study. And for studying, this is the table, these are the columns in the table. So for example, assets is nothing but, of course, date is to record the date of the transaction. So asset is nothing but cash or accounts receivable or supplies, or these are different types of assets. Similarly, liabilities are two types noted here, notes payable and accounts payable, but there could be many more different other types of liabilities. But for this problem, these two are mentioned. Similarly, stockholders equity, either it will be common stock or it will be retained earnings. Further, retained earnings is nothing but revenue minus expense minus dividend. So these are the basic what you call the further split up or breakup of this equation, assets equal to liabilities plus stockholders equity. Now what you need to understand is how a particular transaction will impact this particular accounts, so different accounts. So to record that is what is the tabular analysis. So I'll start with this okay, the company name. Let's start with the company name. Nina Finzelberg started her own consulting firm, Finzelberg Consulting Inc. Okay, so this is the name of the company, and problem 3-2A from the financial accounting textbook. Now tabular analysis. So for tabular analysis, what I will do is I will use this 1, 2, 3, 4, the left side columns here and the right side columns on the right side part of the book. So I have date, then cash. Okay, let me use a scale and draw some lines here. Next I have accounts receivable. So by the way, all these are different types of assets. Okay, so these are assets. So accounts receivable, supplies and equipment. So this is one part. Okay, so this one will be equal to liabilities and shareholders equity. Okay, so this is the other side. Now under liabilities we have notes payable, accounts payable. And under equity we have common stock and retained earnings, RE I will write. Again under retained earnings we have revenue minus expense minus dividend. Okay, so apologies for squeezing in all those items. So let's do this here. Notes payable, accounts payable, common stock, then we have revenue, expense and dividend. Okay, so now our table is ready, so we can start doing the tabular analysis. So at all the time we need to balance this equation. Okay, so let us look at the transaction first. Okay. So stockholders invested 15,000 cash in the business in exchange for common stock. Okay, so when stockholders are investing cash, that means cash account will increase. Okay, 15,000. So that is what I will write here. So the date is May 1st. Cash account will increase by 15,000. Now, because the left hand side of the equation increased by 15,000, somewhere on the right hand side also it should increase, and obviously the option is common stock, it's mentioned here. So therefore whatever this 15,000 cash has come, that is come in the form of common stock. Okay, so under this common stock I am writing 15,000. So this is my first transaction. Okay, so let's continue. My second transaction, so this one we finished. Paid 600 for office rent for the month. So this is basically an expense payment. Okay, so if you pay 600, what will happen? Your cash will reduce, right? So here I will say 2nd May and then minus 600. Because you are paying 600, your cash will reduce. So on the left side it is reduced, so obviously on the right side also it should be reduced. And here you can see expenses, already it has a minus sign, so I can just simply consider it as minus 600. So now if you look at the equation, right side is minus 600, left side is minus 600, so equation is satisfied. So that is the this transaction, the second one. Next, purchased $500 of supplies on account. Now you are purchasing supplies. So what is supplies? Supplies is an asset, and your asset will increase by $500. So therefore under the supplies I will say plus 500. This is on 3rd May. Now the problem is this supply 500 is on account. Okay, so when you say on account, your cash you are not paid. You just kind of you'll be paying later. So therefore cash will not change. Cash will remain as it is. So to compensate for this, on the right side accounts payable is there. So this accounts payable will increase by 500. So now the 500 added on the left side, 500 added on the right side. So our equation is balanced. So that is the meaning of this transaction. So paid $150 to advertise in the country news, or county news. So you are paying some amount for advertising. So it's an expense. Okay. So minus 150 because you have paid it, so cash will reduce, and minus 150 here. The expenses will reduce. Okay. So I hope that is clear. Next, received 1400 cash for services performed. So whenever company performs the services, because it's a consulting firm, right? They did some consulting work and they received a cash 1400. So obviously the cash will increase by plus 1400. So this is on earlier was 5th and this is on 9th. 1400 is an increase in the cash. Now this increase in the cash is nothing but revenue. Okay, so on the right side, so here you can see revenue. So this revenue column increased by 1400. So that is this one. So basically again the objective of this problem is look at the transaction and understand how it will impact this particular equation. Okay. So paid 200 cash dividend. Okay, so when you are paying cash dividend, that means your cash will reduce by minus 200, and then here the last column, your dividend will also reduce by minus 200. So because see already dividend is in negative, so minus 200. Okay, so next this is on 12th. So the transaction on 12th has been recorded. Next, on 15th, performed 4,200 of services on account. Okay, so you are performing services, which means you are earning revenue, but that revenue is not yet received, it is on account. So since you are performing services, let us record the revenue. So this is on 15th. Under the revenue column, I will write 4,200. Now cash will not increase because this is on account. So there is another asset called accounts receivable. So in that accounts receivable, again I can have 4,200 plus. So this will balance the equation on both sides. So accounts receivable is an asset. Paid 2,500 for employee salaries. Okay, salaries is also another type of expense. So minus 2,500 for cash because you paid the cash. And here on the expenses I will write minus 2,500. So this is this transaction. Next, on 20th, paid for supplies purchased on account on May 3rd. See, on May 3rd, you look at this May 3rd, supplies 500 and they were purchased on account. So the account payable was there. Now we paid for that. So that means now your cash will reduce by 500. So this is on 20th. So minus 500. To balance this minus 500 on the left side, on the right side also, the accounts payable will be minus 500. So that means your accounts payable has been cleared. Okay, so like that. So this happened on 20th. Okay, let's continue. We have 4 more transactions. Received a cash payment of 1200 for services performed on account on May 15th. Okay, so cash payment received is 1200. So directly I will say 1200 here. This is on 23rd. Now this work has been done on account earlier. Okay, on 15th. So this 4,200. So out of this 4,200, 1200 has been received. So accounts receivable will has to be reduced by 1200. So this is a special kind of entry where both the entries are on the same side of the equation. So here you can see the equal to. Both the entries are on same side. One is plus 1200, other is minus 1200, and they will both cancel each other. Nothing needs to be written on the right side. Whereas other things you see, there was one entry on the left side and one entry on the right side. But in this case, both entries are on the left side. That is also possible. So in that case, one will be positive, other will be negative. So our accounts receivable became, it means it reduced, so it became negative. Next, 26. Borrowed 5,000 from bank on note payable. Okay, so when you borrow money from bank, your cash will increase and note payable will also increase. So here 5,000 increase in your cash. This is on 26th, and your notes payable will also increase by 5,000. Okay. Next, purchased office equipment for 2,000, paying 200 in cash and a balance on account. Okay, so you paid only 200. This is a kind of 3 accounts are impacting. So earlier we had only 2 entries for each one. Now we will have 3 entries. So you see how it is. When you purchase the equipment, your equipment asset will increase by 2,000. So you go to the equipment and equipment will increase by 2,000. But the cash is only reducing by 200. So minus 200. Why? Because you are only paying 200 and the remaining 1,800 balance is accounts payable. So that will come here. So it will come as a plus 1,800. So you see 2,000 minus 200 is 1,800 added on the left side and 1,800 added on the right side. So the equation is again balanced. So this is a entry where 3 items are, 3 values are entered. Okay, so this is done. This is on 29th of May. So last transaction, paid a 180 for utilities. Okay, this is very simple. This is an expense. So 30th, you have minus 180 and the expense is again here minus 180 under the expense. So this is for utility. So here actually you are supposed to write the explanation. What is this thing that I am not writing because I don't have place here. But anyway. So now what is the next thing? Show the effects of previous transactions on accounting equation. That's what we did using the following format. Assume that note payable is to be repaid within the year. Okay, so that is done. Include margin explanations. Okay, this I did not include. Now prepare income statement for the month of May and prepare classified balance sheet at May 31st. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. Now, how do you get the income statement? So income statement is nothing but revenues minus expenses. Okay, so let us see what is the revenue column. You see the revenue column 1400 and 4200. So let's see what is the total revenue. So 1400 plus 4200. So here I am getting 5600. So this is the revenue. Now what is the expenses? So I'm adding all the expenses. So 600 plus 150 plus 2500 plus 180. So this is my total expenses, that is 3430. Okay, so I'll put the minus sign just to indicate that it is a expense. And of course there is also dividend of 200. Now these three informations are useful for creating the income statement. So let's go and do the income statement based on this tabular analysis. Okay. So I have the Finzelberg Consulting Inc. and month of May 2014, because all the transactions related to the month of May 2014. So income statement. So what is my income statement? So first I have to record the revenues. Already you had seen this in the previous videos. Then later I have to record the expenses. So I have 1400 and 42000. Okay, so you see here two revenues are there, 1400 and 4200. So let me write that. Service revenue on 9th. So we have 1400 and service revenue on 15th, 4200. So total revenue. Okay, so already we did this calculation. So total revenue is 5600. Next, coming to expenses, what all expenses I have? So first is office rent, 600. Next one is advertisements, 150. And next one, salaries, 2500. And finally utilities, so 180. So these are the expenses as already we have seen here. So just to be sure, once again I will add. So 600 plus 150 plus 2500 plus 180. So 3430. This is the total expenses. So what is my net income? So net income will be 5600 minus 3430. So I will getting 2170. This is the net income. Okay. So this is the income statement for the month of May 2014. So I got this net income. See, not only income statement, we also need the retained earnings statement. Okay, so let's do that. Retained earnings statement. So again, Finzelberg Consulting Inc. as of 31st May or 2014. Retained earnings statement. So it starts with retained earnings on 1st May. So what was the retained earnings on 1st May? So in this problem that information is not given. So under such conditions, you can assume that the retained earnings initially was 0. Okay. Next we have add net income in the month of May. Okay, of May. So that is 2170. Then we less or we subtract dividends paid in month of May. So So what are the dividends paid in the month of May? So here you can see paid 200 cash dividend. Okay, so minus 200. So here I will get 1970 as the retained earnings. Okay, so final retained earnings on 31st May. So now we have the retained earnings, so we can make the balance sheet. Okay, so let's go to the classified balance sheet. Already you know what that is. Okay, so Finzelberg Consultants, Finzenberg Consulting Inc. Then we have as on 31st May 2014. Classified balance sheet. So I start with assets. So we have current assets. And what are the assets? Already we have all the assets mentioned here. Cash, accounts receivable, supplies and equipment. Okay, so I have cash, accounts receivable, supplies and equipment. Equipment is not strictly current asset, but for this problem I am just doing it to simplify it. So let's go and check the balance of each. So what is the cash balance? We have to do the cash balance here. So let's see. So 15,000 minus 600 minus 150 plus 1400 minus 200 minus 2500 minus 500 plus 1200 plus 5000 minus 200 minus 180 is equal to. So I am getting 18,270 as the closing balance of the cash account. Okay, let me just check. So 15,000 minus 600 minus, I'm sorry, is this okay? So 150 plus 1400 minus 200 minus 2500 minus 500 1200 plus. Okay, so let's do it again. 15,000 minus 600 minus 150 plus 1400 minus 200 minus 2500 minus 500 plus 1200 plus 5000 minus 200 minus 180. Okay, this looks correct. I cross-checked also. Now accounts receivable is 4200 minus 1200. So 3000 is the accounts receivable balance. So this is 500 and this is 2000. So cash is 18,270, accounts receivable is 3000, supplies is 500 and equipment is 2000. So what is my total assets? 18,270 plus 3000 plus 500 plus 2000. So 23,770 is the total assets. Now let's come to liabilities. Okay, so what are the liabilities? So here there are only two liabilities, notes payable and accounts payable. Okay, so let me write notes payable, accounts payable. So the balance on notes payable is 5,000 and the balance on accounts payable is 1800, because these two will cancel each other and this 1800 is there. Okay. So 5,000 and 1800. This is liabilities. So what is the total liabilities? So 6,800 is the total liabilities. Next, equity. So what is the shareholders equity? So if you see, we have common stock of 15,000. Okay, so let's write that. $15,000. Next, I have what is called as retained earnings. So the retained earnings is taken from the last line of the retained earnings statement, that is 1970. Okay, so let me write 1970 here. So now if I add all this, so let's see what it is. 6800 plus 15,000 plus 1970. So I'm getting again $23,770. Okay, so this is exactly equal to the total of assets. Okay, so this is liabilities. So assets equal to liabilities, and we got the balance sheet. Okay. So I hope you understood this problem. So this is different transactions are given and a tabular analysis is done. And once the tabular analysis is done, I can get the this is the tabular analysis, and then I can get the income statement and the retained earnings statement. From that I can prepare the final balance sheet. Okay. So I hope this was useful and this was informative. I'll be making more videos like this in the later series. So see you in the next video. Thank you.